Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to explain how to write and read from text files in C. Um, so, I've created a project here and let's see how we can do that. The first thing we do is we create a pointer to the file data type, which is included in stdio.h, so I can call this fp for example, and set it to null. Okay, it's a good practice to always initialize our variables here. There are certain steps that we follow when writing code to write or read from a file. The first thing we need to do is we need to open the file. And this can be done using fp equal fopen, using the fopen function, where we give it two arguments. The first argument is the name of the file. In this case, let me call it kitchen.txt. And the second argument is the mode. How do we want to open this? Do we want to open it to read the file, to write to the file, to append to the file? There are different options here, okay? And you can check this out in a book or over the internet. In this case, I want to open the file to write to the file. So I'm going to specify W here, okay? So I give it the file name. I can also give it a path here, like for example, C, oops, sorry about that, C, let's say, // I don't know, data, depending on the folder I have it in. I want to actually put it in. In this case, make sure, especially if you're on Windows, that you have two backslash here, because remember in the backslash in C is treated, the next character here is treated as an escape character. So for example, if you had like a file starting with the T in C, remember /T is a tab, so you don't want that. You want actually double backslash to avoid that problem. Okay, so the first step is of course declaring a pointer here and initializing it. The second step is opening the file, and the third step is checking to see if the file was actually opened, because there are reasons sometimes when we write a file, when we try to create a file, as in this case, where the file cannot be written because, for example, maybe we don't have permission to write to this location, or for example, say we, I don't know, with other issues here that may arise. So always check to see if the file was opened correctly. So we check this by just checking the pointer. If it's null, we have a problem. If it's not null, we're fine. Okay, so in this case, fp means that it's not null. So in this case, we do something. And what I want to do is I want to actually write to the file. How do I write to the file? Well, I use something similar to printf that you know. The only difference here is just that it's called fprintf. The first parameter is the file pointer, so fp. And then the second parameter is this. The rest of it is actually the same as printf. So I can actually, in this case, I'm not going to use any variables here. I'm just going to write some text. Okay, so this works exactly like printf. So for example, I could have used some variables like an integer, let's say num, for example, here. Okay, just like this. So you see the format is exactly the same. But I'm not going to do this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write some text in some free format. And just to make this a bit quicker, I'm just going to copy paste some code that I have here, so I don't take up time by writing it out. Okay, so here you see I'm adding some data to the file, /n, new line here, blah blah blah. So this, I'm concatenating all these strings together and with the new lines. So this is some dummy data here, and I'm writing to the file. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I want to actually complete this if statement. Else, what happens is that I just want to issue an error. If the file was not opened properly, file cannot be created, something like this. Okay. Okay, so let's test this and see what happens. Okay, so it looks like everything went well. So then I go, so this is actually placed in the current directory in which this project that I created exists. So I go into my Finder here, try to figure out, here it is. So let me open the file so you can see it. And let me bring it in a little bit here. So see, this is actually a file where I just added free text, and there's no format, as you can see. Okay, so it's like free text. The first line is shorter, the second line is larger. Okay, and the only kind of formatted area here is this these two lines where I have my text is delimited by the pipe. Okay, but anyway, this is what I wrote. So everything works fine here. Okay, so let me just close this. And so this is how we can write to a file. The next thing I forgot is the closing the file. We always have to remember to close the file. And we do this with fclose. So it's pretty intuitive, pretty straightforward. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you how to read from the file. So we created the file here, and I'm going to do this in this same program. We're going to create code to read the file. Okay, but there are several ways you can do this in C. So let me show you a couple. The first thing is you can read it character by character. So let me declare a variable C as a character, and again, so this is, let me just write read from file. So the next step is to open the file again. So let me just, I can maybe copy the code from here. Open this file in almost the same way. Now this time I don't want to write to the file. If you specify W and try to open it with W, what happens is it zeroes the file out, and then you're ready to write a new file. So it does not append in this case, okay? So, but this time I want to read from the file, so I specify R. And I can use a loop to read from the file character by character, just like this. I can do something like while, I can use the getc function, which for files is probably you realize this, it's fgetc. So I can do something like fgetc file pointer. So fgetc just takes in the file pointer. I'm assigning this to the character C, so the result of a fgetc is one character at a time. I assign this to C, and I do this as long as the result of this is not equal to the end of file. So what is the end of file? This is a special marker, okay, in C, which signifies the end of the file. So you can check it out this way. So this will read one character at a time as long as you have not reached the end of file, okay? So here I can then, for example, just print this character using a printf, so we can see it on our screen to see what was read from the file. So simple as this. Okay, so let's test this and see what happens. Okay, and you see now it read the entire file down here, and everything that it was in the file is displayed on my screen. So it looks like it worked properly. Okay, I suggest here you check out part 2 of the video where I explain how to write and read a pipe delimited text file. Thank you.